Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Divine Inspirations 888. I hope you're all doing well. For today's message, I will be discussing with you rejection. I'm sure you may have heard that rejection can be protection, and that is so true. Have you ever think and wonder, when was the first time I have been rejected? When was that in my life? And how did I feel from that? Did that affect my overall well-being, my mental health, the way I feel about myself? Have you been able to heal from that rejection that took place in your life? Whether it happened in childhood, whether it happened as a teenager, even if it happened as an adult. A lot of individuals are afraid of being rejected. And that stems from the trauma of being rejected for the first time in your life. And that is something that you need to look inside yourself and heal and release. So my first time that I have been rejected was when I was about 8 years old. And I had to really think about that when I began to go on my healing journey. And I didn't start my healing journey until I was in my 30s. But that first rejection that happened when I was 8 years old really stuck with me. And so along the way, I was always looking to be rejected. So I always had my guard up from I was 8 years old. And that's where the mind comes in. Because in my subconscious mind, I was always being rejected. So I was looking outside my reality to be rejected. And so said, so done. I was rejected. I was neglected along the journey up until the day that I realized where that came from. I realized that it's time to dig deep within myself, heal that rejection, and forgive that rejection. Once I did that, all of that rejection from everything outside of myself disappeared. I was never rejected again because I stopped looking for outside validation. Yes, when you look for outside validation, that is opening yourself up to be subject to being rejected. Because you are looking for someone to want you or to validate you or to say that you are enough. But deep down inside, you are already enough. So when I decided that I'm enough and nothing outside of me can make me feel less than I know that I am, all of the rejection went away. The first time I was rejected was by an older cousin of mine. She chose my other cousin over me. And did you know that years went by? When I mean years, like years went by. And a person who I never thought of hearing from, because we live in complete different countries now, I heard from her. And that was one of the first things that she said. This was about 3 years after I started my healing journey. So 3 years, I've already healed that rejection. I've already released. I've already forgiven. And I moved on with my life. But years after, she contacted me. And I'm going to say 20 years later, that was the first thing that she said to me, was she apologized for rejecting me that day. And because I've already forgiven her, I was like, interesting how that came up. However, I wasn't holding it against her. But it's just to say, once you release, once you forgive, and you know your worth, and you know your value, nothing outside of you can make you feel less than. So whenever anything come up or you may feel the fear of rejection, look back and see where that came from. Look back and see where that came from. Because, like I said, because at that time, before I healed, I was always looking to be rejected. And it happened over and over and over again. It was like a cycle of rejection. It was from 8 years old all the way up until my 30s. It was a cycle of rejection. Okay? I ended up being rejected by countless amount of people in my life after that one cousin rejected me. And I held on to that in my subconscious mind. And everybody else just started to reject me after that. We would be good for a while, and then it was a big rejection. It happened even with my mother. You can find that story in my book. Yes, even my own mother ended up rejecting me. I ended up growing up in foster care from 12 until 21. The rejection cycle continued until I started to realize something is not right. Something is not right. So I started to heal my subconscious mind. I started to heal myself and said, nothing outside of me. I will not look for validation from anything and anyone outside of me. Once I healed that rejection wound, my life transformed. The first person that rejected me, like I said, out of nowhere, found my contact information and contacted me. And we spoke for about a week. And she said she apologized. And I did not bring it up. I did not bring it up at all. But she did. And it was interesting to me. Remember, what you put out there in the universe. If you put healing out in the universe, you will receive healing. Okay? If you put out fear, you will receive the energy of fear. You will receive things that's going to make you afraid. If you put out forgiveness, you will also receive forgiveness. So I was putting out self-worth, confidence, courage, because that's how I was feeling inside. And then all of a sudden, I saw my world change. So remember, rejection is something that you can heal from. Okay? The trauma of being rejected is something that you can heal from. Look at it this way. It is something for you to grow, learn, evolve, and become your best self. Become your most authentic self, no matter what happens in your life, whether it is rejection, whether you've been neglected, rejected, it doesn't matter what it is. Look at it as something to evolve from. Look at it as something to grow from, to be a better version of yourself. I used all of those situations to be the best version of myself. It is possible. It is more than possible to reprogram your subconscious mind to think positive, to think of your glass half full and never half empty. And with that said, I hope you were inspired with this message. I hope you learned something, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day.